Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and I am here to do the sketch challenge for the Victoria Marie Facebook group. This is the one that was posted by Caddy and Megan. So Megan on YouTube is Crafty Maggie, and Caddy is Caddy Miranda, that's her name. And I love it, and I know it's probably really hard to read because when I printed this, it printed really light. So I apologize about that, but this is the sketch I'm going to follow. They posted it last week and it's already probably almost into the new challenge, but I still really wanted to do it and I'm hoping to get it done within the weekend. So today's Thursday and it's the 18th. And I only get a short amount of time during the week to do any type of scrapbooking. So I tend to just kind of get my layers put together and then I finish up in the weekend. But this is the sketch I'm working off of. And then I picked up two sets of photos. So the first one is Jackson and his awesome blue bike that he got. And he was fine. When we first bought it, he wasn't actually big enough to, his legs didn't reach the pedals, so he wasn't big enough for it. And he finally was just last October-ish. It was very hot in October. And so there's this, and I just love these little photos of him, and he's trying to figure out how to make it go without Daddy's help. So I love that, and I want to get those scrapped. And then my second option are these two adorable photos of him with his fox. So my son never used a soother. He's always used his fox and the nose of the fox as his soother while he was teething. So these are two different stages in his life. This is a little bit earlier than this one. This one was right at the beginning of 2015 before we got his haircut. That's how I know that. And this is more like fall of 2014. So again, I just kind of want to document the fact that no soother was used on him. He just needed the fox's nose. So it's kind of a fun story as well. But when I was looking at these, trying to decide which one I wanted to use, I decided I really like these ones the most. They're just so crisp and they're just really good photos. So I decided that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to have them like this, I think, because again, he's kind of looking into the photo. And I decided that I was going to challenge myself to use nothing but scraps or things that aren't really that new. So the first thing I did is I have this piece of pattern paper, and this is what the back looks like. I really want to do a layout with this as a border and then something here. But when I turned it over, I love this color. It's so pretty. And obviously I can't cut it because that's going to screw up the fact that I want to do a page here. So I'm going to make the call that this is going to go into his album, and I'm going to use that as the background like that. I really liked it. It brings out the sky and the fact that it was a really pretty day. So that's my first choice, and it was very easily made. I do have my stencil here for the triangles in the sketch, which again, I'm not sure how well it reads, but there's triangles right here. And I want to copy that. So I have this, and this is from, I can't even read it. It's a Crafter's Workshop stencil, there you go. And I just got it on clearance. I paid $3 for it, so pretty good deal. Again, I'm in Canada, things are a little more expensive. And then I'm gonna pull, I know this is scary, but I'm gonna pull from my 6x6 pads. I spent an evening pulling out all of my 6x6 pads and the ones that were kind of barely, like they were almost done. And I had a lot of them. I had 20 to start with. I now have 14 that are still in the 6x6 pads themselves, and this is what I got out of the rest of it. Most of it, I'm not gonna lie, is meant to be used as white paper, like to use for matting. So that's what the majority of it is. This is the rest of it for patterns that I want to use. But I'm thinking about digging in, and I have some of it organized, but I'm thinking about digging into my little bit of red that I have in the middle somewhere around here. But I'm just going to dig through here and decide what I want to use. And that's going to be how I build the layers for this layout. So I'll get you on fast forward and we'll see what I can create. So thankfully this turned into quite a fast layout. I simply did some stitching along the edge of it, and then I used some mixed media with some modeling paste and some watercolors to make the design for the triangles there. I'm now going to just trim my photos just a little bit so that when I go to mat my photo onto the 6x6, it's going to fit the way I would like it to. And I love these photos of Jackson on his bike. It's just, he looks so cute and he's so happy to be outside, and it's just, they're fun. And I love the quality of how these photos turned out, so I was excited to finally get them scrapped. So I want to mat one of my photos, so I'm just kind of deciding which one I think that should be. And I decided to mat the one of Jackson on his own, kind of zoomed in on him. I thought that because his shirt was red, it all just kind of tied in a little bit better than trying to use the one that's a little more zoomed out and the blue skies in there, because I highlighted the fact that there's sky with the bordered paper that I use for my border of this layout. I'm now going to bring in this other 6x6 piece that's black. It's got some really neat lines to it, and I'm going to first just think if I could use it like that, but what I'm going to do instead is trim off two of the sides and make little corners for them and place them kitty corner to each other, which again just kind of help emphasize and brings your eye back to the photos, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to work a little bit with my design and just see what I like, what catches my eyes, what works for me. So I'm in the process of doing that right now, and I'm finding that using corners like this help a lot, and I just loved how it brought just a little bit in, so I'm really enjoying how that looks. And then I'm going to think, and I'm going to think, and I'm going to think, and I'm going to think. And I'm not sure, I was trying to debate if I wanted to bring any more colors or pattern papers into it. I decided not to. I decided it was time to embellish. So the first thing I'm going to do is use this little piece of a frame that I've had. I used it on another layout just recently, and I thought it fit really well on the bottom. Again, it's kind of just highlighting. And then I took an old tab that I had, and this Today is Your Day, again, all my scraps. And I'm just kind of layering pieces to help bring red around the page and focus again back on my photos. So I'm trying to work on that. And that little thing that I'm moving around right now, I have had in my stash, I feel like forever. So I was very excited to get that used. And I just kind of fiddle around with where I want it to go, but that's basically exactly where it's going to go. I did try to use some of these puppy stickers, but they were the wrong color tone. I tried to use that Best Day, but it just didn't match in with the mixed media I had done, so it was worth a shot, just was the wrong shade. So that's fine. I'll just save it and use it on something else. I still love them, so they'll get used eventually. I am going to use a little bit of washi tape here and just use it to highlight that I'm putting the date at the bottom. I'm going to roller date stamp it, but I forgot to do it on camera, so it'll just magically appear. And it's just a roll of washi tape I think I've had again in my stash, but it was red, so I thought I'd use it because mostly I'm just using that to back, like when I do stitching on the back of my layout, I'm not actually using it to highlight on my photos. So I was happy to use a little bit of that as well. And then I'm going to use this clear photo sticker just right on top of the photo, and it just says "Be You," which I think is very appropriate about this. I haven't journaled on this layout yet. I'm still not exactly sure what I want to say, if I want it to be a little more in depth or just kind of more do it on the fun. So I haven't actually journaled yet, but I think I'm going to do some hidden journaling behind the layout when the time comes and I do get it journaled. I'm going to just make it a very, very simple and boring title and call it Bike Ride. I couldn't think of anything else. There was nothing super special about this day, so Bike Ride it was, and I think it fits. It works just fine for me. Not every title needs to be the most exciting title I've ever seen. So, and I was able to use up these brand new thickers that I had, and I just started into this package, so I'm excited that I've gotten some of my thickers used up. I'm determined to use up my thickers, and then once I have no more letters that I can make, no more words, they're going away. I'm going to get rid of them. I'm now going to move on to working on a little bit more embellishment. I have 3 options for bikes here, and I'm going to play around back and forth, and I have a really hard time deciding between this little scooter and the bike with the chain of hearts. They both fit. I could have made them both work, but I just wasn't sure which one I wanted where, so you're going to see me move them back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
but it does get on there, so you'll just see me do that. And I just thought the last little bit I'd say while you're watching me do a little bit more embellishing here is, so I've created this layout for the Victoria Marie Facebook group, and last week, so today I'm recording this on the 19th of February now, and they just was, so it was for the previous week, the challenge, and it was a sketch challenge. We do sketch challenges once a month, and they're super fun, and a lot of people partake in them, which makes them even more fun. So I just really wanted to support this month's sketch, and it was hosted by Caddy Miranda, and that's where you find her on Facebook, of course, and I also do a separate thing with her, and then of course Crafty Maggie, who is Megan, and they were the ones that hosted this month for the sketch, and I loved the sketch that they picked. They did do it a bit more of a Valentine's Day theme because of course it was running the week of Valentine's Day. I chose not really to do Valentine's because this is the middle of summer, but my additional to it was to add in hearts throughout the page, and that was kind of my nod to the fact that this was supposed to be a Valentine's Day layout. So go ahead and go on to the Victoria Marie Facebook group and see what everyone's made because it's been a lot of fun. And with that, that's going to wrap up my layout.